Welcome to the Woman's School, your How to Be a Woman school in context of today's culture. We believe in wholeness. Our mission is to give women practical, systematic, and comprehensive guide to living a life that is whole. Our bold dream is to rebuild culture one woman's worth at a time, because every woman deserves to feel whole and complete. She was created to live a life of generosity, but in order to give, she must first receive. And that is our bold mission. We equip women with a mindset and a skill set that will give her the capacity to give more of her best self to the world. Welcome to the Women's School. My name is January Donovan, your founder and your guide. Welcome to limiting belief number 1, made this way. How many times, ladies, do we subconsciously think this is just who I am? I was made this way. So in this podcast, we are going to break some myths, shift things around, but really understand the why behind it. Okay. It is important for us to understand how our minds and our brains are wired so that we can have a deeper understanding on why these beliefs that I'm going to talk about are limiting your ability to dream bolder and bigger. Okay. But first, I want us to dig a little bit. Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to just grab a piece of paper and just jot them down. Okay. And the purpose for this is that I want you to engage the process, because nothing that I will say is really going to have a deep transformation unless you do the work. Okay. So grab a piece of paper. Question number 1. Jot down and describe briefly, maybe in 5 sentences or 6 sentences, your personality. What are you like? Describe yourself to yourself. It's a really powerful exercise, okay? If you need to pause this, go ahead, but I'm just going to keep on going and just take your time in answering these questions. Number 2, describe briefly your current reality, your situation. Okay, what parts of your situation do you love and what parts do you need to recalibrate? Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the parts, or I call it the arena of a woman's life, and just ask yourself, what is my situation here and how do I, how is my current reality? Do I love it? Is it thriving? Am I happy with it? Is it depressing? Do I hate it? Get an inventory, okay? So what about your emotional state? Okay. What about your mental state? What about your physical health? Your work life? Your wealth? Your adventures? You love where your adventures are taking you. Things that are new, things that make your heart pop out. What about your purpose and your contribution? Are you intentional about your purpose and contribution? Are you happy with where that is? Your environment, your space at home, or it could be at work, your intimate life, okay? That's someone special that occupies that only special place in your heart. Are you happy? Or is there things that are not making you happy in that arena? Your friendships in your family life, okay? So just jot down all those different arenas and say, this is what I love, and this is what I love about it, and this is what I don't love about it. Okay. Third question is, how is your personality creating your current situation? Go through all the different arenas and ask yourself, how is your personality connected to the current realities that you're living? Okay. How is your personality affecting your family life, your friendship, your intimate life, your mental health, your wealth, and try to find those connections, because this is why I wanted you to describe your personality, because we're looking at blinders here that we might not be aware of. And when we become aware of it, we can then work towards taking out those limiting beliefs or those blinders that are limiting us from braving the world out there. Okay, so in this particular podcast, I'm going to just bust some myths so that there can be sustainable change, okay? Because here's the thing, is that the myth that you're made this way, that you can never change, is a bold-faced lie, and it's going to cost you your dreams because it's a limiting belief. Here's the reality. Unless you change, you really cannot expand your dreams, okay? Because you cannot dream the same dream being the same person. If your dreams are bigger, you have to be bigger. Neuroscience has given us a deeper understanding in how our minds have developed, and science can now prove that we have the ability to change our current reality by rewiring our personalities and the circuits in our brain. This is amazing and such a new, I would say, trajectory of possibilities for women in our self-worth issue. Okay. So yes, you might be born a certain way based on your genetics and what you've inherited and what how you were raised, but you're not stuck that way. Okay. But before we go into understanding and demystifying this belief that you were born that way, I'm going to do a little brain talk here. And as I need to give you a understanding on how our mind works, because it is going to give you a deeper conviction on the importance of really rewiring our brain. Okay. So this is basically touching the tip of the iceberg, but it's enough information that you can understand and apply it. Okay. So first of all, our minds, our fabulous, amazing mind, the organ, our brain, which is a really fascinating organ, okay, are made up of our conscious and our subconscious mind. Okay, we're just going to keep it simple. Our conscious and our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is only really 5% of our mind. And we often refer of our conscious mind as our thinking mind. It's the mind where we process information that we receive from our external environment, external circumstances. They go through our senses, and that goes through our conscious mind. Now, the second half of our brain, which is a more massive part of our brain, is our subconscious mind. It represents 95% of our brain, which we refer as our emotional mind. Okay. Our brain, our subconscious mind, does not discriminate on what we decide to put in there. Okay. It impresses upon any kind of stimulus or environment we choose to. It does not discriminate. So our subconscious mind is like a database of past experiences, and it's responsible for our personalities, our behavior, our emotions, and ultimately our current reality. It's that massive. Our conscious mind has no reasoning power. It imprints whatever it receives from our conscious mind repeatedly. So what happens is that your conscious mind receives information through your senses, and through repetition, it gets buried into the database called your subconscious mind, and now you're not even really aware of it. A great example would be when you first learned how to drive. You had to think of all the different things you need to do in order to get that car moving. The turn signal, the mirror, the pedal, the steering, all these things were new, and you had to think about it in your conscious mind because you had to focus on what you need to do to drive. But now driving is a habit. You can do it with your eyes, no, not closed, but you can do it while you're texting. You can do it while you're putting a sippy cup, or you're doing a million things and you're multitasking and you're not thinking of turning the wheels. You're not thinking of, pressing the pedal. They have all become a subconscious behavior. Your body actually already knows it better than your mind. That's how amazing it is. So that's a great example of what first came into our conscious mind through repetition became into our subconscious mind, and now you're an autopilot. You don't even think about what you need to do to drive, right? And that's really important because it helps us to understand how, I would say, powerful our subconscious mind is, that we don't actually need to think about it. It's almost like automatic, okay? So let's take a step back. When you were born, you did not have a developed conscious mind, okay? So you absorbed everything in your environment, good or bad. Everything went directly into your subconscious mind because there was no filter for you to say, oh, you know what, that's not good, this is good, that's not good, okay? Through time and repetition in our environment, Your experiences became imprinted into your subconscious mind, thus becoming the foundation of your thoughts, your perspective, your behaviors, and your personalities. Who you become as we grow up into our adult years directly result from our subconscious programming, and it really was developed prior to the age of 7. Okay? And it's scary, and at the same time, it makes you think of what you were given the first 7 years of your life. I love this quote from Aristotle: give me a child until he's 7 and I'll show you the man. And it really talks about the importance of those first pivotal 7 years. If you're a parent, you can say, whoa, this is massive. I need to look at my children and see where we can do a lot of rewiring and wiring even for the age of 7. However, okay, this is a fascinating part about neuroscience, is that as you grow, you continue to experience the world that continues to shape your conscious mind, but you can actually rewire your mind, okay? So your personality was shaped in your first 7 years of your life, and it continually grew. It was a foundation, but which means that as you grew older, you gained more experience, more things were put into your subconscious mind, okay? What you need to understand is that there are things in your subconscious mind that you might not realize are holding you back. The best way to explain this is that, for example, you grew up with a mom that was vegan, and she decided that she wanted to create an absolutely vegan lifestyle for her family. And she would always talk about those meat eaters. And there was a part of her that was pretty critical, judgmental of people that ate meat. She was convicted about it, but she was also judgmental for people that did not believe in the same things that she believed in. So as you grew older, you realize, you know what? I don't really like being a vegan. I realize that my body type requires meat, and I'm okay with not following my mom's footsteps. And so I'm no longer going to be vegan. So here's the thing that we might not realize. Yes, you might have eliminated the fact that you were a vegan, and now you're open to a different way of eating. However, the conditioning of being judgmental to the people that does not have the same beliefs that you do are carried and buried in your subconscious mind. So you might not realize that the idea of judging someone has become so much a part of your wiring that it's costing you. Okay, let me give you an example. So the same lady who's now 18, and she wants so badly to become a coach and help people overcome their health issues. She studied how vegan is affecting your body, and she was realizing, you know what? I want to be able to teach people about overall health, whatever it is. I'm just giving an example. It could be any kind of belief about what we eat. And so she starts wanting to coach people about how to be healthy. However, she actually was conditioned to be judgmental, critical, and assumptive of people. So her clients or prospective clients feel her judgment, and they don't want to work with her. Okay? There's a part in her personality that's actually hindering her from sharing this incredible message of what it means to take care of our body holistically. So she's now frustrated because she wants to change people's lives, but her personality is actually creating a block. Now that personality came from her mother and her listening to her mother over and over again, that she had permission to judge, be critical, and cynical to people that did not have the same beliefs. Now, she's not aware of this. She has inherited a belief that she is not aware is affecting her current reality. She's frustrated because she can't get a client. She's frustrated because her business, she knows, is so powerful and so important for people to change their lives, but it's her personality that's hindering her from maximizing her message to be exposed. Do you see the massive hindrance if we do not see and take a good look at a personality? Okay, so a great way to look at it is that if you don't like your current reality, then you have to look into a part of your personality that is shaping your current reality. What is it about your environment that you don't like that maybe you don't like to clean and put things back because you were never taught, or your parents never put things back, or your life was somehow always in chaos growing up. So yes, you want a life of order, but the 95% is in conflict with your 5% of your brain. Okay, so you have to do a lot of excavating and really clarifying where the stuck points are. Okay, so it's really if you want to have a visual, think about the 95% at war with a 5%. Who gets to win? The 95%, right? Here's the thing, is that the beliefs that you inherited are deep into your subconscious mind, and they were wired into your brain as a young child and into your adult life. And they could be the very reason that you're not expanding your possibilities. Okay, each of our past experiences connected to a thing called a neuron, okay, that was wired into our brain. When these neurons were wired into our brain, they created neural pathways. Okay, neural pathways become sort of a hard wire, a conditional response, which means that you now have a set of patterned response in your life and belief that has become an operating system. You probably don't even know it's happening. It's just happening. Okay. So what you do is that you see a woman you don't like, you're judging them, and you don't even realize you're doing it. Your subconscious mind has taken over, and you're not aware that you're judging women all day long. And I have seen this time and time again. When you're judging someone, it shows in your face, and there's no way you can fake it, ladies. Okay, so I always tell ladies, change your thoughts, change your belief. That way you don't have to fake it. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little later. It is like having a software in your brain, which has become an operating system, which controls your behaviors, perspective, personalities, emotions, and ultimately your reality. So if you really want true freedom, but yet you can't seem to shake off and see that you've been judgmental, and that's the source of the fact that you can't expand your freedom, you are going to be spinning your wheels. First of all, there isn't any true freedom without getting rid of comparison and competition. Okay, that's a side note, but that's an important fact. So you tell your 5% of your brain, which is your conscious mind, it's time to be free. Okay, no more judging, no more judging. The problem occurs when the 95% of your brain is in condition to judge, that it does it so automatically, you don't even know when you're doing it. It's become a subconscious habit. Your conscious mind is at war. Your conscious mind is at war with your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is going to win because it's the 95% of your brain. Okay, so here's a question for you: is what part of your personality could be hindering your ability to be bold in the world? Are you aware of the definitions you're placing on your own self-worth that might be limiting you to a bolder life? Okay, so is it possible that your personality is hindering you to be able to really reach for those big dreams? Right? Because you might want a big dream, but you're stuck into a negative judgmental personality that's repelling everyone else around you. So you're spinning your wheels because you want it, but you're really been conditioned to play it small. Okay, you can't get past it. So your 95% wants to dream big, but your 5% wants to dream big, and your 95% is telling you, no, you can't dream big. You're small. You were told you're not good enough all your life. Your teacher told you, your parents told you, so now you're self-sabotaging. Okay, your 5% is telling you need to stop judging, but then your 95% is so used to judging, it actually feels good to judge somebody because it makes you feel better about yourself. So now you have an addiction to a certain feeling and emotion, and you don't even know it's just a habit. You're doing it. And that's like any habit. You're not consciously aware of it. You're just doing it. Okay. It's kind of like a habit of looking at your phone. You don't even recognize that you're doing it so many times a day. It's become a habit. Okay. The best news in all of this is that we can rewire our brain. This is a massive breakthrough. If you don't like your current reality, you can rewire your current reality. It is possible for you to rewire your conscious mind so you can actually rewrite a bolder story. Yes, this is a massive, massive yes in transformation. So how do you rewire your brain? Well, there are two ways to rewire your brain. Number one is through emotional shock, which is often referred to as a negative experience. It's often something like a 9/11 or something tragic, and that's not necessarily the way we want to go. right? The second way is how we want to be able to rewire our brain, and that's through repetition. It's the easier and peaceful route. Okay, so no, you're not made this way. You are not stuck. You can rewire your brain, and you can then rewire your whole life. This is amazing. It's transformation sustainable at our fingertips. Now you just have to learn how to get into your subconscious mind, which I'm going to teach you later. Okay, so you can change a new reality by changing your current personality. It doesn't mean that you just abandon your overall self. It does mean that you need to study which part of your life needs to be rewired so that you can go and rebuild a new you, and that new you is the one that's going to rewrite a bolder story for the world. That's amazing. So you are not stuck, ladies. You are absolutely not stuck. You can rewire your brain and rebuild your worth and rewrite a bolder story. Okay, so here's your script. And the script is something that you recite every single day. Now, the three component of a script is, number one, you need to have a vision of that new person you desire to be. Okay, if it's a person that's free, you need to create a vision and say, I want to be the woman of freedom. Okay, number two is the script is about really picking the right words that creates emotion, that creates motion. Okay, there needs to be emotion behind what you're saying. So you can't just say, I choose my personality to fit my desired reality. No, you feel it in your gut that you absolutely can choose your personality and it's going to create a different reality. Okay, so you need to have emotion and you need to be consistent. Okay, so your script is really saying it over and over and over again. If you can say 10, 20, 30, 40 times a day, what it's doing is it's rewiring your subconscious mind. You're not going to recognize you in another 30, 60 days. This is a massive breakthrough in understanding women's worth. Massive. Okay, so here's your other script. And I want you to recite the second script over and over again for the rest of your life, okay? Because it gives you permission to be bigger. Here it is. I will rewire my mind so I can rebuild my worth and rewrite a bolder story. That is going to be your mantra, right? Because now you can absolutely rewire your mind. And by doing that, you rebuild your self-worth and you get to rewrite an amazing, bold story, okay? So ladies, you're not stuck. You can rewire your brain. That's my take-home point for day number 1 on unearthing these limiting beliefs that are causing us heartaches. So stick with us. So grateful to have you on our day 1 challenge in eliminating our limiting beliefs. Stick with us. Share this message to your awesome friends so that we can all do this together.